and this presentation is about Vietnamese cuisines. Vietnam occupies the eastern and southern part of the Indochinese peninsula in Southeast Asia and is about approximately 300,000 square kilometers. Vietnam is approximately the same size as Italy and Japan. Outside cultures have had an influence on the cooking styles and the food prepared in Vietnam. Chinese influencing soy sauce in northern Vietnam, and also the fondness of beef by the residents of the north by the Mongolians during the 13th century invasion. Indian Empire influencing spices and herbs, and in particular the French influencing foods such as baguettes, also called banh mi. Rice is the major food of the Vietnamese diet and is grown and cultivated in the country. Both Red River and Mekong River Delta is renowned for its rice. Soup with rice noodles is the national food of Vietnam. Rice is also used to make rice noodles. Also accompanying rice with vegetables, fish or meat with the Vietnamese fish sauce is also a delicacy. Herbs and spices such as basil, coriander, lemongrass, mint, and black pepper are also commonly used. Steaming, frying, boiling, and stir-frying are some of the main cooking methods. It was said that the fresher the ingredients, the better the food. In this context, it's true in terms of Vietnamese cooking. Herbs and salad is almost presented raw and organic with little to no dressing, hence to not spoil the natural flavors. Main dishes with vegetables and fish are gently cooked and lightly seasoned to bring out the flavor. Due to its colder climate, northern Vietnamese food tends to use less spices compared to the rest. Black pepper is used for the hot flavor. The cuisine is less diverse and more traditional when incorporating spices and herbs. This results in light and balanced flavors. Central Vietnam is renowned for its spiciness of food due to the abundance of spices grown in its mountainous regions. Chili peppers and shrimp sauces are used frequently and present colorful and sophisticated dishes in smaller portions. The rich soil and warm climate results in the increased production of produce and livestock in southern Vietnam. Food is more flavorful and uses more produce, where sugar and coconut milk is also added for more sweetness. Seafood is a staple food in this region due to its vast shorelines. Buddhism is one of the main religions in Vietnam. One of the major foods associated with Buddhism in Vietnam is po chay, which is a vegetarian version of the staple meal po. It uses the po noodles, vegetables and spices but does not include the meat. During the first and middle days of Lunar month, many Buddhist Vietnamese would not eat meat, eggs, seafood or chicken, so usually they would consume vegetarian dishes such as the po chay. Tet or the Lunar New Year is one of the important days of the year. This time the families get together for a feast of food and treats, and food is also presented as gifts. Some of the similarities that Vietnamese food is influenced by the Chinese, who dominated Vietnam 1,000 years ago with cooking methods such as stir-frying and deep frying and the usage of chopsticks. And also Vietnamese spring rolls are said to be distant cousins of Chinese egg rolls. And after the French colonized Vietnam 100 years ago, they introduced foods such as baguettes, French bread, pâté, toffee with cream, milk, butter, custards, and cakes. With the exotic nature of the Vietnamese food, there is also an unusual aspect of the culinary culture. Coffee made out of the dungs of weasels called weasel dung coffee, eating duck embryos which are boiled and seasoned, consuming snake and mouse meat are some of them. Vietnam is the second largest exporter of rice, 28% of the total main agricultural production. It is also a leading exporter of coffee, rubber, pepper, and cashews. Majority of the Vietnamese population came to Australia after 1976 when the communist government took over their country at the end of the Vietnam War. The first boat arrived on the same year carrying refugees who were accepted as immigrants to Australia. By 1981, the Vietnam-born population in Victoria was over 12,000. Many set up their own businesses, which now have gradually transformed into vibrant restaurants in suburbs such as Springvale and Richmond here in Melbourne. And popular restaurants such as Rolled, which is street food based, makes up these restaurants. Thank you so much for listening.